Capital cities, air parks, and police cars are just some of the new releases of note in the simulation world from last week. Hi there, folks. My name's NovaWrap, and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings-on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday, the 17th of March, 2024, for a slightly late edition, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody who celebrates. I hope your Guinness ran cold for you, or the things you found something suitably green to wear for the day. Folks, we're going to jump straight into the new releases for this week because we've got a fairly packed week. So we're going to start this week with the team over at Aerosax releasing their latest aircraft with the release of their rendition of the Tecnam P2010 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So this is an interesting little ultralight aircraft from Tecnam. One personally that I actually have flight time in. So this one perked my interest, that's for sure. It's a high-winged, single-engine ultralight / GA aircraft, which is of the Italian design. I would go into more details about what the developer says about it, but the developer basically didn't say anything about it. But from having a look at the screenshots, the model looks pretty solid. It looks pretty much exactly like what I remember flying in real life. Overall, the model looks pretty good. The textures look a little clean. Would probably the one thing that I would say about it, but otherwise, yeah, it looks like a reasonable representation of the aircraft. And if you wanted to add this one to your Microsoft Flight Simulator collection, you can pick this one up for $18 or your regional equivalent, available now from SimMarket. Moving now on to airport releases for Microsoft Flight Simulator, starting with the team at Malaysian Flight Sim Group. They released their latest airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator with the release of their edition of King Hussein International Airport, also known as Aqaba International Airport in Jordan. So definitely going a little bit further afield from Malaysia than they normally do. So this provides us with an airport with all airport buildings modelled and completed to the layout as it appears in 2024. So very, very up to date. Full custom ground poly, custom photoreal terrain, and fully compatible with AI traffic. Overall, looking at the screenshots look pretty good. The ground poly does look pretty good. They've got custom textures throughout. The ortho imagery, like the photoreal imagery outside the airport perimeter, looks a little rough, but then again, it is a fairly harsh part of the world, so I will sort of forgive them for that a little bit. Nice integration of some night lighting as well, but all the airport buildings look pretty good and pretty damn well detailed. Maybe some issues with blending it into the photoreal terrain, but overall, as I said, overall looking pretty good. And for the price point, not bad, coming in at $13 or your regional equivalent, available now from SimMarket. Continuing on with airport releases, this time from developer Project Max, they released their rendition of Husein Sastranegara Airport in Indonesia, which is located in Bandung, the capital city of the West Java province. So this gives us a highly detailed rendition of the airport, including all airport buildings, as in the airport layout as it appears at the end of 2023. Custom 3D models used throughout both at the airport and the surrounding area, with a number of city landmarks also included to increase your immersion for your approaches. Includes a number of animated objects, including the high-speed train, the Indonesian high-speed train, and the airport tour bus, and a number of towed aircraft throughout the airport, as well as some other details. Includes detailed landside customization of the roads to blend seamlessly in with the Microsoft Flight Simulator default textures, as well as supporting a 3D interior modeling of the main new terminal and partial interior for the old terminal. Includes support for working runway in use indicators with runway lights, as well as a couple of other cool features. It's got a working LED screen and working clock at the airport terminal. So when you taxi up, you can actually see, just like it is in real life, you actually see some scenes of the island and the area, as well as support for local time. Custom DEM data for runway and taxiway sloping. One of the interesting features, though, of this one that really stuck with me, I know it's a really, really small thing and something that, doesn't really probably matter to most people, but they've got the airport name changed in 2018. So if you set your sim time if you set your sim time at 2017 or before, the airport name actually changes, both like in the sim database and so not in the sim database, but on the airport itself, which is an incredibly small detail, but incredibly cool. And overall, it's looking pretty good. The photoreal imagery looks a little rough, but the building modeling looks pretty good. The texturing possibly overdone. Some of the ground clutter looks a little bit odd, but I will defer to anybody who's a local for the area to tell me whether or not that is accurate or not. Now, if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $10 or your original equivalent, available now from AnyBuilds. Continuing on with airport releases now, but moving into something a little bit smaller, the team over at Backwood Studios this week released their rendition of Shady Cove Airport. So Shady Cove Airport is a fascinating little concept. Yes, it was one of those air park concepts here in America, where instead of a trailer park, you have air parks. Your home is built attached to a runway, so you can taxi your aeroplane out of your garage straight onto the runway. And that's one of those, I want to say it's uniquely American things. I've never seen or heard of it happening outside of America, but I just think the concept is fascinating and I love it. This is situated in Oregon and is surrounded by the Pacific mountains of the Pacific Northwest, and makes an absolutely beautiful starting point for journeys throughout that area, or just kicking back for the couple of cold ones. So it gives a detailed rendition of the airport with, I would say airport buildings, but they're homes. And yes, they are modelled and some really, really cool features. I'm actually going to be doing a review video of this very, very shortly, so keep an eye out on the channel for that. That is coming very, very soon. But yes, it is a fantastic little GA airport and a really unique experience. So if you want to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $7 or your original equivalent, available now from Orbix Direct. And rounding out the Microsoft Flight Simulator release news this week, the team over at Spinoza this week released their latest airport with a release of Herrenteich Airport in Baden-Württemberg in Germany. So single runway ops, GA operations, also supporting skydiving and various other skydiving and gliding activities, and is a airfield located in the on the Rhine, close to Hockenheim, Speyer, and Ketsch. Due to its location on the Rhine, the airfield can actually be flooded despite the dams nearby, and drying out after flooding can take several weeks, meaning no flight operations. So that's a really interesting fun fact about it. I don't know whether Microsoft Flight Simulator real-world weather includes flooding, but that would be interesting to find if it does. All airport buildings are modelled. The textures and the modelling looks really, really good for this one for a GA airport. It also includes a number of details outside the airport's perimeter, including a nearby factory and a nearby bridge, the Speyer Bridge, done in some pretty cool detail. Now, if you wanted to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $16 or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Markets. Moving out of the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator now and moving into the world of X-Plane. So a couple of the scenery releases this week, starting with the team over at FSX 3D releasing their rendition of Figari in Corsica for X-Plane 12. It is a airport that services primarily international and national sort of long-haul flights, and is the third largest airport in Corsica. Includes all airport buildings models, full high quality textures, a number of PBR effects, dynamic lighting supported, as well as a number of animations throughout, as well as being fully compatible with Ortho for XP. And if you want to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $15 or original equivalent, available now from xplane.org. And in the other X-Plane 12 released this week, the team over Giovetsky Designs released their first release for X-Plane 12 with the release of KDCA Washington Airport and City Combination Pack. So this is, it's marketed as a ground-up build for X-Plane 12. I'm going to be suggesting it's probably more likely a hybrid sort of port over from the ESP and Microsoft Flight Simulator family of sims, giving a highly detailed rendition of Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia, as with all airport buildings modelled. Not going to go into too many details here because I'm pretty sure it's the older version of the airport, so dating back probably a couple of years now. No details on whether it's been updated any further or not. But along with that, you also get the Washington, D.C. Landmarks pack. So essentially, it's the two packs that we normally saw for those of us who've been flying in the Legacy Sims and Microsoft Flight Simulator for a while. You're getting those two packs combined into one. And the landmarks packs includes all your famous landmarks, so US Capitol Hill, Washington Monument, the White House, yada, 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 all included. Now, normally this is coming in for $30 US, but it's on a launch discount for $25 or original equivalent, available now from explain.org. Sticking with flight simulation, but flight simulation of a very different kind, the team over at Horizon Hobby this week released their RealFlight Evolution 2024 year content pass this week. Well, they released a bunch of DLC, but they also released it in the content pass, so I'm just going to summarize it all here. So their annual content pass, for those who don't know, actually, RealFlight Evolution is a remote control flight simulator, and it's actually recommended in the remote control flight simulation, remote control flight community as being very realistic, and it's designed to actually be used with an actual remote control aircraft controller. So you can set it up using an Xbox controller or a normal HOTAS arrangement or whatever controls that you have, but it is designed primarily to make use of an actual remote control aircraft controller. Essentially, this is a great way for users to be able to practice with aircraft, to get familiar with an aircraft that they might be buying in real life before taking it to the skies and potentially wrecking a very significant financial investment. And for that, it's been praised in the community for many, many years. Now, this release, as I said, this week they released 6 new aircraft for this one. These are all sponsored aircraft. These are all sort of authorized, licensed aircraft from various remote control aircraft manufacturers, including eFlight and Tower Hobbies. We saw the release of 6 aircraft which form part of their 2024 quarterly content, their first quarterly content pack. So you can either pick these up individually as an individual aircraft, you can pick them up as a quarterly pack for a slight discount, or you can pick up the annual pass, which gives you not only this content pack, but also the next remaining three quarterly content packs coming out throughout the rest of the year. So the 6 aircraft that we saw released this week were the eFlight Air Tractor, Commander, UMX Waco, and Valiant, the Tower Hobbies ASW powered glider, and the Viper Jet remote controlled turbine jet. So if you wanted to get the annual pass is $70. Individual aircraft start at $3, going up from there, but check it out for yourself if you're interested. Available now on Steam. Moving out of the flight simulation world now, moving into the world of the permanent way. This week we saw the latest scenario pack released for the Train Simulator Classic from the team over at High Iron Simulations, with the release of their Saluda grade scenario pack number 2. So funnily enough, this is the second pack involving the Asheville to Spartanburg route of the Saluda grade, and gives a number of scenarios to give you some options there. You get 6 different scenarios with different options and different tasks for you to do, including carrying wood chips, carrying coal, and serving as an engineer throughout other services. So apologies, you get 10 scenarios with this one. Sorry, not 6. These are all based on actual railroad operations and train numbers from the real line. Now, if you wanted to add this one to your train simulator collection, you can pick this one up for $10 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And finally, rounding out the NovaWrap for this week with the release of the latest DLC for Police Simulator Patrol Officers. So this week, the release of their Warden Police Vehicle DLC. So funnily enough, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It adds in a new vehicle that you can choose to go respond to crime in the Fair City which is a small SUV. It looks very much like I would say it looks like it looks kind of like a hybrid between a Hummer and a Jeep, but I'm not 100% sure if it's a real vehicle or not. So, didn't do enough research into that one. I'll be honest with that one, because then the description is minimal. It literally says it features a light bar on the top that can display messages. Okay, cool. Is it a real vehicle or not? I don't know. Please tell me in the comments down below if it is. But if you wanted to add this one to your Patrol Officers collection, you can pick this one up for $3 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much again for watching. Apologies again for the delay in getting this to everybody. We had some family matters that I had to take care of. So thanks very, very much for bearing with me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the content if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by following me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWrap24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.